Hello and what's up everyone, Thunderbob here, and I am checking out some more Diablo 2 Resurrected. This is the alpha. I am loading up an old Diablo 2 save file so I can check out a character that someone has requested. I did a Windy Druid a while back, and someone asked if I could demonstrate a Firecaster Druid, and this is a Druid that I don't have a lot of experience with, but I've been reading a bit on to get an idea of kind of how it all works. This is Druid that focuses on the elemental tree, specifically this left column. You'll put 1 point in all the prerequisites for Armageddon. Pretty much you max everything here by 99. Nothing in shape-shifting. Summoning Oak Sage. You might want to go down to Grizzly and take a few points from Oak Sage. You're not going to have much left over when you're maxing the tree here, unfortunately. There's so many synergies for Armageddon. You kind of have to put points everywhere, and it doesn't leave much left over. For the gear, and this isn't completely optimal, I kind of scavenged from my Windy Druid to some extent, but part of the Oak for the plus skills, and the faster cast rate, Raven Lore, Mara's, Enigma for teleport, Spirit, Water Walk, SOJ, Mage Fist, and I do want to show, I have got more than the 99 faster cast rate, so I'm hitting beyond the break point that you need to. There's also some interesting things. I really didn't have a lot of knowledge on this build. I feel like I always assumed it wasn't good. But all of the skills here share the same cooldown, meaning like when you do Armageddon, everything goes on cooldown. I think it's 6 seconds. So you have to kind of do these skills in a certain order. Like Armageddon lasts 50 seconds. So you basically are going to be casting Armageddon, and then that lasts a long time, and then primarily you're going to be using Fissure as your attack while Armageddon is, launching these big fireballs all around you, and then Molten Boulder for any fire immune, because this does partial physical damage. I've also got Infinity on the Mercenary for the Conviction Aura, and we're going to go ahead and try to kill Andariel in Player 1, and if we're successful, I might try some Player 8. This character has pretty great gear, and even with this, I'm not confident on how well it's going to do in a Player 8 difficulty. So we're going to go ahead and start Armageddon up, so we got 50 seconds of Armageddon going. And of course, there is a shit ton of fire immunes in Act 1. Luckily, that Conviction is breaking some of them. And I've got my trusty Molten Boulder to help. I hate how quickly the sages die. Like Oak Sage, it's just dead in one hit. More fire immunes. But getting broken by Conviction for the most part. And you see Armageddon wore off there, so I'm going to recast it, and you'll see all of the fire skills are on cooldown. So that's something you have to keep in mind with this build. But it does a ton of damage, 14,000 damage. Problem is though, you cannot really control it. It always kind of just goes all around you, so there's a couple of ways you can utilize it. So like you can back up and let the guys come through the Armageddon that you've left behind. You can try to teleport like right into the pack, but with the Druid's cast rate, and it's not going to be as good as a Sorceress for the most part, especially at the higher difficulty. With my Oak Sage. Went bye-bye. And this build is okay for certain things, like the Ancient Tunnels in particular I read is very effective. But this is also a pretty gear-intensive build because of faster cast rate that you kind of need, and the number of plus skills, and trying to do that plus magic find gear is going to be difficult. I'm definitely not advocating this as like an early build, but it can be fun play around build. Just running through, letting all my fire rain down on them. And I'm excited. This is Thursday before the open beta starts. I've got a couple videos up for the closed beta already. I'm going to be checking out some of that the open beta tomorrow, and hopefully I'll get one of my real life friends. We tried to hook up last week, but we had some timing issues and didn't manage to play together. But I am hoping that we'll be able to this time. And player 1, this kind of just mops up everything. That plus the mercenary, at least. But what I'm understanding is this damage doesn't scale as well, and one reason I think a lot of people don't like it as much is the positioning is very, very difficult. You know, like, you can't control this at all. You kind of just have to hope they hit Andariel. And even Fissure just kind of puts out these fiery pools and is pretty hard to aim. So you gotta be pretty careful with it. Okay, so I'm gonna try players 8, and I'm gonna try to find in the Lost City the Ancient Tunnel, which I'm understanding is a pretty good farming spot for this character. You know what? I just realized I put my shortcut on the Oak Sage from my weapon and not the one from my plus skill. Alright, and I also should probably actually use auras and everything. Some champions already. Okay, just making sure it actually set it to 8. For the ancient tunnels. Ancient tunnels. I'm gonna recast that. Yeah, those cast delays are super annoying. You got like options, like do you want to just like run in and like let your fire, but then you're also potentially taking damage. These guys are fire immune, of course. Recast our Armageddon. It lasts 50 seconds. It's a lot like Hurricane. That lasts quite a long time when you've got it buffed and synergized and everything, leveled up. Coming up the chest. Because of those long timers, there's like definitely down periods where you can't do a lot. I wonder if there's any like anything else you should be doing. Positioning, I suppose. Trying not to die, but trying to still get them hit by my fireball. Because of the long timers, you really don't have too much of a mana problem. I could see how this could work reasonably well. Like, it's definitely not the quickest build I've played, but so you can like run past them and hope your Armageddon actually hits them. I'm definitely playing kind of dangerous here. I love the changes they've made to these areas, like adding the little canals here and stuff to the sewers. Such a cool look. Alright, my things are not hitting them at all. It's like everywhere but on the enemies. And that's kind of the weakness, I think, with this build, is there's a lot of randomness to the attacks. They're kind of hard to, even when you know what you're doing, and I'm not claiming I do, I'm still a huge noob at this specific build. But even when you're good at it, I feel like there's enough randomness that it's hard to predict and hard to, like, consistently get the attacks to where you want them to be. And if you click the wrong spell, you got a little time to wait. Yeah, I think I'm going to end it here. It's an interesting build. It's, I think, maybe not quite as good as like a Windy Druid or a lot of other casters, but it's got some interesting mechanics, and if you're looking for something a little different, this might be a build to check out. I'm going to have more beta stuff up this weekend, and I am so excited for the full release of Diablo 2 Resurrected next month. I know there's some issues to work out, and there's still stuff like the ultra-wide support that's a little in doubt that, you know, I'm eager to find out what's going on there. They just announced that the ladder items will be available on single-player and non-ladder multiplayer, which is really awesome. Makes me think maybe I will play multiplayer and not single-player. But I'm still curious about a few of the other changes, ultra-wide and TCP/IP. Maybe they'll have a second thought on that, but at the moment, I'm going to end the video. If you like this, I have a whole bunch of other Diablo 2 Resurrected content you can check out. And if you like what I'm doing, why don't you give me a subscription? I would appreciate it. Have a good night, everyone.